Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Bellator 301. We are back in the city of Chicago, the third time in the past 12 months. Great to be here downtown Chicago for the weigh-ins here for Bellator 301. Tomorrow night live on Showtime, we've got a 5-fight main card with 3 5-rounders kicking it off tomorrow night. We'll start with the second of our semifinal round matchups in the $1 million Lightweight World Grand Prix as the number 2 ranked fighter, Alexander Sabri, takes on the former lightweight champion, now ranked at number 1, that is Pitbull. And then we'll move on to our double main event with 2 world title fights on the line. We'll start in the bantamweight division as the bantamweight Grand Prix winner and interim title holder, Patchy No Love Mix, makes his second attempt at capturing the world title as he takes on the fighter, the native from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, just a bit north of here, making his third defense of his bantamweight strap. That, of course, Sergio Pettis. We'll conclude the night with welterweight gold as the number 2 ranked contender finally gets his long-awaited world title shot. That, of course, the ass-kicking machine, Jason Jackson, as he takes on the welterweight champ, the undefeated fighter at 27-0, making his second defense. That, of course, the fighter out of the Ukraine, Yaroslav Amosov. For those that are joining us on the live stream, we welcome you to downtown Chicago as we get set to get things underway. I'm cage announcer Michael C. Williams, joined on stage by Sophia and Louise. Mr. Bert Watson is with us to kick things off. We'll get the fighters on the scale here momentarily. A quick thank you to our sanctioning body here in Illinois. That is the Illinois State Athletic Commission. Director Nancy Ilg is on hand for the weekend. The live card on Showtime, 5-fight main card, as we mentioned. We'll kick it off at 9 o'clock in the East. That's the main card. 8 o'clock here in Chicago, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. The prelims, 4 hours earlier. Tomorrow night, we will kick off the prelims 5 o'clock East, 4 o'clock local time, 2 o'clock on the West Coast. The prelims, of course, 11 fights scheduled now for the prelim card. You can catch that live on YouTube at Showtime Sports and Bellator MMA. And, of course, on Pluto TV, just find the dedicated Bellator channel under the category of sports. Let's move now to the fighters. We'll put them on the scale. We'll start in the featherweight division. It'll be Kobayashi versus Landu. Your first fighter to the scale, please welcome Isao Kobayashi. The veteran at 27-5-2 as a professional out of Osaka, Miyagi, Japan. On the scale, first up, his official weight, 145.2. 145.2 pounds for Kobayashi. His opponent now fighting out of Mola, France. Please welcome Yves Landu. You know. Winner of 3 straight inside the Bellator cage. Overall 19-9 as a professional. And on the scale, Landu is official weight 145.4. 145.4 pounds for Yuno. We'll kick it off tomorrow, Bellator 301 here in Chicago. The featherweights are set. Isao Kobayashi, Yves Landu, you know. And now we go to the lightweight division. It'll be Wild versus Hamill. First fighter to the scale, Tim Wild. Out of Wolverhampton, England. A veteran inside the Bellator cage, 16-4-1. His professional record. On the scale, official weight, 156. 156 pounds even for Wild. His opponent now, please welcome to the scale, Magic Mike Hamill. Fighting out of Phoenix by way of Green River, Wyoming, 11-5 overall as a pro. 155.8, the official weight. 155.8 for Hamill. $11 preliminary fights scheduled for tomorrow night's Bellator 301. There's number 2 in the lightweight division, Wild versus Hamill. We go now to the featherweight division once again. This will be Pontes versus Law. First fighter to the scale, Jefferson Pontes. Undefeated at 6-0. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Official weight on the scale, 145.6. 145.6 pounds. His opponent now, Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Cody Law. Seven and 2 overall as a professional. His weight officially 145.4. 145.4 pounds for Law. Fight number 3 on the prelim card. Catch it on YouTube at Bellator MMA and Showtime Sports channels. Pontes versus Law. Next up, we go to the contract weight fight at 160 pounds. It'll be Mola versus Mamedov. Your first to the scale, Achilles Mola. As a professional, he brings 15 victories with 3 defeats. And on the scale for the contract weight fight, even at 160 pounds. 160 for Mola. His opponent now to the scale, Islam Mamedov. (22-3-1) overall as a pro. His weight 159.4. 159.4 pounds for Mamedov. We go now to the welterweight division. First fighter to the scale, Randall Braveheart Wallace. 29-1. Make that 20 victories, 9 defeats, 1 draw as a professional. On the scale, official weight, 170.4 pounds. 170.4 for Wallace. His opponent now making his way to the scale, Ramazan Kuramagomedov. Undefeated at 11-0. His official weight, 171 pounds. 171 for Kuramagomedov. We go now to the bantamweight division. All of our prelim fights set for 3 5-minute rounds. Up next, Palencia versus Matos, your first fighter. To the scale, Richard Relentless Palencia. Out of Phoenix, Arizona. Near perfect as a professional. 10 victories, just a single defeat. Official weight, 136 pounds even. 136 for Palencia. His opponent now to the scale, Mateos Adamas Matos. Out of Sao Paulo by way of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. 13-2-1 as a pro. Official weight, 135.2. 135.2 pounds for Matos. Next up, we go to the flyweight division. Your first fighter to the scale, Sabri Shagwe. Fighting out of Turkey. Official weight, 125.6. 125.6 pounds officially. Her opponent, please welcome the undefeated Kerry Taylor Melendez. Fighting out of San Francisco by way of Van Nuys, California. As a mixed martial artist professionally, undefeated, 5-0. On the scale officially, 126.6. 126.6 pounds for Melendez. Next up, we go to the lightweight division. It'll be Bous versus Kogan. First fighter to the scale, Peter the Archangel Bous. Out of Breda, Netherlands. 17-7 overall as a professional. His official weight, 155.6 pounds. 155.6 for Bous. Next up to the scale, we welcome the undefeated 10th ranked Archie King Kogan. 8-0 as a professional, fighting out of Denver, Colorado. His official weight, 155.4. 155.4 pounds for Kogan. Back down to the featherweight division. We'll go Gonzalez versus Hisriv. Your first fighter to the scale, Justin J. Train Gonzalez. Ranked now at number 7. As a professional, 14 victories with 2 defeats. His official weight, 145.4. 145.4 pounds for Gonzalez. His opponent now, we welcome the undefeated Timur Imam Hizrev. In the rankings at number 6, he's 13-0, 2-0 in the Bellator cage. Official weight, 146. 146 pounds for Hizrev. We go now back to the flyweight division for one of our featured prelim matchups. It'll be Holdz versus Inaba. Your first fighter to the scale. Please welcome Denise, Miss Dynamite, Holdz. Multiple times a world kickboxing champion as a mixed martial artist, 7-5. 5 finishes to her credit on the scale. 124 even. 124 pounds for Holdz. Her opponent now out of Maui, Hawaii. Please welcome the undefeated Samiko, Lady Samurai, Inaba. At 6-0, ranked now at number 5. In the flyweight division, her official weight, 125. 125 on the mark for Inaba. Flyweight set. It'll be Denise, Miss Dynamite, Holdz, Sumiko, Lady Samurai, Inaba. And now to wrap up our prelim card tomorrow night at Bellator 301, we'll go to the heavyweight division. It'll be Gome versus Fortune. First to the scale, Marcelo Gome. Out of Pitangueiras, Sao Paulo, Brazil, 10-4 as a pro. On the scale, officially, 260.4. 260.4 pounds for Gome. His opponent now, please welcome Tyrell Fortune. In at number 6 in the rankings, 13-3 as a pro. His weight, 247. 247 pounds for the fighter out of Tempe, Arizona by way of Portland. Wrapping up tomorrow night's prelim card here at 301, there's heavyweights Marcelo Gome, Tyrell Fortune. Again, the prelims, catch them live on YouTube at Showtime Sports or MMA, as well as on Pluto TV. We go now to the main card tomorrow night live on Showtime. We'll kick off the 5-fight main card, 9 o'clock in the East, 8 o'clock locally here in Chicago, 6 o'clock for you folks on the West Coast. And we'll kick it off with a 5-round matchup, semifinal number 2 in the $1 million Lightweight World Grand Prix. Your first fighter to the scale, please welcome the number 2 ranked Alexander Shabley. 23-3 as a professional. 12 knockouts, 7 submissions for the finisher. In the quarterfinals, a third-round TKO, 29 seconds into the round. And for his semifinal round matchup, his weight officially 155. 155 even for Shabley. And now we welcome to the scale the former lightweight world champion, ranked now at number 1, do Brasil, Patrick Pitbull. The veteran stands with 25 victories against 11 defeats, 17 wins coming by knockout. He's got 1 win by way of submission. In his quarter-final round matchup, he too just the same. A TKO stoppage in that third round. His came 49 seconds into the round. For his semifinal round matchup, official weight 154.4. 154.4 for Patricky Pitbull. Next up, we'll stay right here in the lightweight division for a feature fight. Outlaw versus McKee. Your first fighter to the scale, please welcome Sydney Outlaw. Out of Coconut Creek, Florida, by way of Philadelphia, PA. Ranked now at number 5. 17 victories with 5 defeats as a pro. 9 finishes on his record. On the scale, official weight 156 pounds for Outlaw. Next up, the fighter that made his pro debut inside the Bellator cage. He now stands at 20-1 overall. Please welcome AJ, the mercenary, McKee. 6 of his 20 wins by knockout, 7 of them coming by submission out of Long Beach, California. His official weight, 155.6. 155.6 for McKee. Fight number 2 tomorrow. Bellator 301 live on Showtime. In the lightweight division, Sydney Outlaw, AJ McKee. And now we go to the bantamweight division. We're going to run it back. A rematch of one of the most hotly contested Grand Prix matchups in Bellator's history. It'll be Sabatello versus Stotts. Your first to the scale, please welcome the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello. Hailing from right here in Chicago, Illinois. 14-3 overall as a professional, 8 stoppages to his credit. On the scale, officially 135.8. 135.8 pounds for Sabatello. His opponent now ranked at number 2 in the bantamweight division. Please welcome Rafian Super Stotts. Out of Houston, Texas. 19-2 overall. As a pro on the scale, 135.8 as well. Both fighters weighing in identical 135.8. Their first matchup at Bellator 289 last year. In the semifinal round, it was Stotts by narrow split decision. Sabatello looking to get that one back. That is fight number 3 tomorrow night. Sabatello versus Stotts. And now we go to the night's double main event with 2 world titles on the line. First gold strap up is in the bantamweight division. We'll welcome to the scale first, the challenger. Please welcome Apache No Love Mix. He is the bantamweight Grand Prix champion. He holds the interim title. He'll come in as the number 1 contender in the bantamweight division at 18-1. He's a finisher with 2 knockouts, 12 of his wins by submission out of Buffalo by way of Angola, New York. The challenger on the scale, official weight, 135 even. And now, back in Chicago, the Milwaukee native to defend his belt for the 3rd time. Please welcome the Bellator Bantamweight World Champion, Sergio S.P. Pettis. 23-5 overall as a professional, 8 finishes to his credit. The champ on the scale, official weight, 135 even. 135 pounds for Pettis. The interim title holder, Patchy Mix, his 2nd attempt to capture the world title. The champ, Sergio Pettis, making his 3rd defense, 2nd consecutive defense here in Chicago. There it is, the first of your double main event bantamweights. For gold, it is the champ, Sergio Pettis, the challenger, Patchy Mix. And to conclude the night here in Chicago at Bellator 301 live on Showtime, it'll be welterweights fighting it out for gold. First up to the scale, his long-awaited title challenge. Would you please welcome the ass-kicking machine, Jason Jackson. In the rankings now at number 2, he brings a 6-fight win streak into this title contest, 16-4 overall as a professional by way of Jamaica, fighting out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. The challenger on the scale, 169.6. 169.6 for Jackson. And now to this scale, we welcome the man with the longest active winning streak in MMA at 27-0, the undefeated reigning Bellator welterweight world champion, Yaroslav Amosov. Official weight, exactly the same, 169.6. 169.6 officially for both the challenger and the champion. The champ fighting out of Irpin, Ukraine. Bellator 301 from Wintrust Arena here in Chicago. Tomorrow night, the second half of the double main event. Welterweight champ Yaroslav Amosov takes on the challenger Jason Jackson. And for all of us here at Bellator MMA, President Mr. Scott Coker and the crew, we thank you for joining us. For those on the live stream, we thank you for joining us here in Chicago. Tomorrow night live on Showtime, the main card kicks off 9 o'clock in the East, 8 o'clock here in Chicago, 2 hours earlier, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. Prelims are up first, 4 hours earlier, 5 o'clock East, 4 o'clock Chicago, 2 on the West Coast. We thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow night live on Showtime for Bellator 301.